Hello, welcome to IDG Talks. My name is Anastasia Lavrina and I'm welcoming you from Fuzuli International Airport. Today I have a very special guest, David Merkel, Managing Director, Summit International Advisors, United States. Hello and welcome to Karabakh.
Thank you very much. It's good to be here. It's my first visit.
To Karabakh.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for joining IDG Talks. And the first question, why this is your first visit?
Well,
Did you have a chance to come before?
I've been in Azerbaijan since '94, and have covered the region both in Congress and in the executive branch in the White House. I was invited before, but obviously I was invited by the so-called government of Nagorno-Karabakh, and Azerbaijan wasn't in control, so it was better not to come until it was liberated territory.
It was the right decision. So your impressions when you were coming here, you could understand that a bit more than 2 years before there was a war conflict between in Armenia and Azerbaijan, and today we are speaking about post-conflict development. So tell us about your feeling while you're here.
Well, I was here for the first anniversary. I was in Baku for the first anniversary of the war, and it was really breathtaking to see how enthusiastic people were. Even after the official parade ended, people still wanted to drive around waving flags and honking their horns. So what I'm impressed with here is just how quickly the government has built this airport, has really gone to try and improve the lives of the people here, has done what they've been waiting for so long to do, which is to rebuild this territory, to try and resettle folks that would like to return to their homeland, and to make it a real symbol of a green economy, a liberated territory, and making Azerbaijan more whole.
When we speak about post-conflict development and the future of Karabakh region of Azerbaijan, definitely first it will benefit the people of Azerbaijan. But what is the importance of this region from the global perspective? Because today Azerbaijan is becoming a very, very important partner for many countries, a partner within the international projects. So how do you see the future of this region?
Well, you're right. It is, and Azerbaijan is playing a tremendous role. It is the only non-Russian source, new non-Russian source of pipe gas into Europe. It's helping solve some of the problems that Europe is facing. It's being a reliable source of energy. It's demonstrating through infrastructure projects, a transit corridor. And really, the settlement of the conflict allows Armenia as well to crawl out of isolation and to bring the Caucasus, the South Caucasus region into a more united region, a region that will see a great bit of commerce and prosperity across the borders, not just within Azerbaijan's borders.
Do you think that Armenian government is ready for peace now?
Well, I don't know. The government there is under a lot of strain. It's still adjusting to its defeat, and it's still trying to decide whether it needs to accept reality and build a new future based on that reality, whether it wants to be a dead ender and try and reverse things that have happened. I obviously think that Armenia's future lies within its own territory and with relations more broadly in the region. It can no longer simply rely on Moscow and Iran. It needs to accept international law and move towards a greater relationship with its neighbors and with the European Union.
You said about Iran. We know that the relations between Armenia and Iran is now growing, developing. They're positioning themselves as a strategic alliance. And indeed, there are too many powers are now concentrated inside Armenia. There is so-called humanitarian mission of the European Union. There are military bases of Russia. There is a second biggest, largest in the world American embassy. Don't you think that the concentration of so many external powers inside can be very dangerous for the government itself?
Well, I think what's dangerous for the government itself is its weakness. The government needs to represent the people of Armenia and not be pulled by external actors, whether they are in Moscow or Tehran or elsewhere. It needs to make decisions for the benefit of its own citizens, not those dictated by diasporas in the U.S. or in France. So I think that it's right that the U.S. has a large embassy in Armenia. We like to have good relations with Armenia, and we do. But I think Armenia needs to come to terms with their future and plan towards that.
Well, the OEC Minsk group is no valid anymore after the end of the war, and we see that United States are trying to help two sides to have a constructive dialogue and come up to the peace deal.
Yeah.
How do you see the role of the United States?
Well, I would expand on your question a little bit. I think the Minsk group wasn't relevant for some time.
Yeah, but
I think
it couldn't
that,
help to
yeah,
resolve the conflict.
Yeah, but it is tragic, isn't it, that the president of Azerbaijan couldn't rely on the Minsk group to show progress, and had to at the end of the day resort to military action after long patience had finally ran out, and I think that was the only decision left for him. I think that now any kind of activity from Secretary Blinken needs to recognize the facts on the ground, needs to demonstrate that the United States is that this is something that they're committed to, that it's not just a passing issue to try and catch some advantage over Moscow, but that the United States truly does want to see everything resolved here. But I think that I'm not optimistic. I'm optimistic that the issue is largely resolved, but it would be good, in my mind, if the United States could set up a process that would move towards seeing the Russian peacekeepers depart, perhaps replaced by European or others.
There are many statements made by the Armenian government about the international peacekeepers or the United Nations peacekeepers who may come to the Karabakh region, but to be honest, this decision, if it made, should be made by the Azerbaijani government, because Karabakh belongs to Azerbaijan. So another very important question: we know that within almost 3 decades, international community could not openly say that Armenia is an aggressor state who occupies the Azerbaijani lands. We see more direct approach to the situation in Ukraine, in Georgia, but in a case with Azerbaijan, they are trying to say it's a complicated situation. So why it's happening, and should they expect more just and fair approach from the international community, at least now?
Well, I think in the past, to be sympathetic to that argument, it would be that no progress was thought to be made by stating it so clearly. That's debatable. I would debate that. But the times have now changed. The facts on the ground have changed, and everyone is recognizing more the international law and the territorial integrity of Azerbaijan. And I think that Russia's blatant invasion of Ukraine, not just in February of last year, but also in 2014, along with its invasion of Georgia, really points to the need for us to be very, very clear about the territorial integrity of states, and that includes Azerbaijan. And we need to be clear about that. And you're right to say that it is in the territory, the sovereign territory of Azerbaijan, and they're the ones that would decide on the presence of peacekeepers or not. And I think that's what I mean by the facts on the ground, that the Azeri position is quite strengthened, and the United States and others needs to recognize that and try and work within those confines to come out with a solution that would satisfy the Azeri government, but also perhaps move towards seeing the Russian peacekeepers leave in a way that the Armenians would be satisfied with.
Well, let's see how the situation will be developed. Thank you so much for joining IDT Talks today.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.